In the heart of a towering glass skyscraper, the world's most successful CEO finds himself in handcuffs, staring at a young girl. She stands motionless, her eyes wide with confusion. The scene is surreal. The pristine elegance of the office sharply contrasts with the raw vulnerability of the moment. The child looks up at the man she has heard so much about, the person who built empires, yet now seems completely helpless, imprisoned not just by the metal cuffs, but by his own isolation. The camera zooms in on his face, showing the emotional turmoil, and then shifts to the girl. In the background, the CEO's achievements, framed magazine covers, accolades, seem to mock him. The empire he built is crumbling around him, and the only thing that remains is this cold moment with the girl. A voice narrates, "He built an empire, but he couldn't save her." The tension fills the room, heavy and unspoken. Time seems to freeze as they both stand in this eerie silence, worlds apart, yet connected by the undeniable weight of this single moment. The scene shifts. We see the CEO now sitting alone in his office, hunched over, head in his hands. The child is gone, and the silence is deafening. The once pristine and polished environment now feels suffocating. The faint hum of the city below barely cuts through the oppressive stillness of the room. The camera zooms in on the CEO's face again, now devoid of tears but etched with exhaustion, stress, and regret. The light through the window is dimmer now, casting long shadows across his face. He stares at the screen in front of him, filled with unread messages, unread apologies. His empire, once so grand, now seems like a hollow shell. His phone buzzes with another notification, but he doesn't answer. He can't. The world he built is crumbling, and he is too far gone to fix it. He looks down at his hands, the same hands that once crafted his empire, now trapped in the reality of his failures. The camera pulls back slowly, revealing more of the room. A framed photo of the CEO with his family sits crookedly on the desk. The once vibrant and warm image now seems like a relic from another life. The CEO's eyes drift to it, and for a moment he allows himself to remember. His daughter's laughter, his wife's smile, it feels like a lifetime ago. He reaches for the picture, his fingers hovering just above it, but then pulls away, as if the memories are too painful. The sound of a phone ringing cuts through the air, sharp and demanding. He doesn't move. He doesn't pick it up. His empire is falling apart, but it is the family he lost that haunts him the most. The picture, once a symbol of his success, now feels like a reminder of his failures. He slowly turns back toward the window, where the city lies in the distance, indifferent and unyielding to his sorrow. The ringing stops. The silence resumes, heavier now. The CEO looks at the photo again. His gaze softens, and there's a brief flicker of warmth in his eyes. For just a second, the weight of his empire seems to lift, and he almost allows himself to remember the joy of being a father. But the moment is fleeting. His phone rings again. This time he answers. "Hello?" His voice is rough, tired. The conversation is muffled, but it's clear from the few words that slip through the line. The company is on the verge of collapse. The pressure builds again, the weight of responsibility settling back into his chest. He stands, his hand trembling as he hangs up. He looks out the window, the city lights twinkling like cold stars. His empire is still standing, but only just. He slumps back into his chair, staring at the empty office before him. His fingers tap nervously on the desk, the sound echoing through the room. The camera slowly zooms out, revealing the magnitude of the space around him, large, cold, and void of any warmth. His eyes drift to the clock on the wall, and for a moment, the minutes seem to stretch on forever. Time, once a luxury he controlled, now feels like an enemy he cannot escape. His life has become a series of decisions made in isolation, each one leading to the same end: loneliness. The lights flicker, casting the office in a soft, eerie glow. He closes his eyes, feeling the weight of his empire bearing down on him once again. But in that stillness, a new thought begins to form. Is there anything left to salvage? The screen fades to black, then shifts to a modest home in the suburbs. A young girl, no older than 6, stands by the window, gazing out at the world beyond. Her name is Lily, and she is the daughter of a single mother. The harsh glow of the streetlight outside casts long shadows into the living room, where the girl stands in silence. Her mother, a woman of strength and resilience, is speaking to a man on the phone, pleading for a job. It's the same story, the same desperation, that has followed them for years. Lily's mother tries to hide her frustration, but it's clear from the sharpness in her voice. The promise of a better life, of something more, is always just out of reach. Lily watches quietly, absorbing every word, every emotion. It's then that she makes a silent vow. She will never let herself become like this. She will never need anyone. The scene shifts to Lily a few years later. She's no longer the innocent child, but a young woman now in her 20s, standing in front of a sleek corporate building. Dressed in a professional suit, she's waiting for an interview, but her eyes betray her anxiety. Despite her polished exterior, inside, she's shaking. She thinks back to the promises she made as a child, the vow to never be like her mother, to never let anyone see her struggle. But here she is, in a world she never imagined she would be in, fighting for her place. As she walks into the building, the weight of her ambition and the burden of her past collide. The glistening facade of the corporate world is intimidating, but Lily pushes forward. She's determined to succeed, not just for herself but to prove to the world that she can overcome everything that's held her back. Lily enters the building and is immediately greeted by the cold efficiency of the corporate world. The sterile, modern office is filled with glass walls, white marble floors, and sleek, minimalistic furniture. She is led to a conference room where a group of executives waits. They smile at her, but it's a smile that doesn't reach their eyes. They're skeptical, judging her on her appearance, her age, her background. As the interview begins, Lily tries to stay composed, but the questions are relentless, designed to undermine her confidence. They ask about her experience, her qualifications, and the gaps in her resume. All things she knows they already know. She fights to keep her voice steady, her words precise, but it's clear that the room has already made up its mind. She feels small, insignificant, and for a moment, she questions if she can really belong in this world. The interview is over, and Lily leaves the conference room, her confidence shaken. As she walks through the corridors of the building, the weight of failure presses on her chest. She feels like an imposter in this world of polished professionals. The walls seem to close in, the air thick with the scent of ambition and power. She pauses by the elevator, staring at her reflection in the mirrored walls. She barely recognizes herself, a young woman in a world that doesn't seem to have space for her. In the silence, the echo of her childhood vow rings in her ears. I will never be like them. But now, she's unsure. She's not like them, but she's also not sure who she is anymore. Her mother's struggles, her own dreams. Everything feels tangled in this moment of doubt. The elevator doors open, and with a deep breath, she steps inside, uncertain of where this path will lead. Days pass, and Lily returns to the office for her second interview. This time she's more prepared, more focused. She's learned to let go of her fears and embrace the opportunities ahead. The corporate world may be daunting, but it's not impossible to conquer. As she walks into the building again, she holds her head high, her posture strong, her eyes steely with determination. She no longer looks like the young girl who once vowed never to be like her mother. Now, she is someone who is ready to fight for her place. The doors to the corporate world have opened for her, and this time, she's determined to walk through them on her own terms. She's no longer fighting against her past, she's embracing the future. And whatever it holds, she's ready for it. Lily's journey into the corporate world continues to challenge her. Sleepless nights become a norm as she balances multiple projects, meetings, and responsibilities. The weight of her ambition presses down on her, and with each passing day, the stakes grow higher. She's no longer just trying to prove herself, she's trying to prove that she belongs at the table. But with success comes sacrifice. She misses her friends' birthdays, her family gatherings feel distant, and even a simple dinner feels like a luxury she can't afford. The more she climbs, the more she feels herself slipping away from the life she once knew. She tells herself it's worth it. The promotions, the recognition, it's all worth it. But deep down she wonders if the cost of success is too high. At the peak of her career, Lily faces a choice: stay the course or walk away and rebuild what she lost along the way. The pressure continues to mount. Lily's phone rings off the hook, emails flood her inbox, and her calendar is filled with back-to-back meetings. She finds herself staring at a blank wall, feeling the familiar pang of isolation creeping in again. She's no longer the girl who promised herself she wouldn't be like her mother. She's become someone else, someone defined by the work she does, not the relationships she has. Her sense of identity has blurred. One evening, as she reviews a report, she receives a message from her mother. It's a photo of Lily as a little girl, playing in the park with her mother by her side. The message reads, "Remember when life was simpler?" Lily stares at the screen, the weight of nostalgia hitting her like a ton of bricks. She remembers the joy, the laughter, the love. She realizes for the first time in years that she's lost touch with everything that truly mattered. Lily's work-life imbalance begins to take its toll. Her health falters. Her energy wanes. The constant cycle of work and isolation has drained her. She loses track of time, feeling detached from her own body. Her reflection in the mirror, once a symbol of ambition and power, now shows someone exhausted and defeated. She's just one person in a machine that never stops, and it's overwhelming. One night, as she stares blankly at a presentation, the phone rings again. Another emergency, another crisis. She picks it up mechanically, not even processing the words. But as she listens, something snaps within her. She's had enough. For the first time in years, she says, "No." It's a small word, but it feels monumental. She realizes that no matter how much success she achieves, it's never going to be enough if she doesn't take control of her life again. Lily starts making changes. She leaves the office early for the first time in years, walking out into the fresh air of the city streets. The hustle and bustle of the world around her no longer feels as overwhelming. She finds herself at a local cafe, watching people around her, realizing how disconnected she's been from the simple joys of life. She calls her mother. A hesitant but sincere conversation. They talk about memories, about the little things that once brought them joy. For the first time, Lily feels a sense of peace. It's not the kind of peace that comes from career success, but the kind that comes from reconnecting with who you are. The cost of success, she realizes, has been the loss of herself. But now, she's ready to rebuild. And it starts with taking back the parts of her life she had long abandoned. As the weeks pass, Lily begins to find a new balance. She dedicates time to herself, to her relationships, and to the things that once brought her joy. Her work becomes secondary to her well-being. She reconnects with old friends, spends time with her family, and even takes up painting again, a passion she had long abandoned. She finds herself smiling more, laughing more, living more. At work she makes her mark, but this time it's on her own terms. She stands up to her boss in a meeting, challenging the expectations placed on her and insisting on changes that benefit the team as a whole. It's a different kind of power. Not the power of ambition, but the power of self-respect and authenticity. Lily has found her place, not by climbing higher, but by letting go of what didn't serve her. And in the process, she realizes that success is not just about the title, but the happiness that comes with it. Lily has risen to a position of power within the company, her hard work paying off as she takes charge of a major project. Her newfound confidence and assertiveness have earned her respect. However, as the pressure builds, secrets begin to surface. One morning, while going through the company's financials, Lily discovers discrepancies in the books, figures that don't add up, irregularities hidden behind layers of approval. The realization hits her like a thunderbolt. The company has been mismanaged, and worse, her trusted mentor, who has been by her side since the beginning, has been orchestrating the mess behind the scene. The business she's worked so hard for, that she's poured her life into, is not even what it seems. Her stomach churns as she pieces together the betrayal. Everything she believed about her success, her mentor, her team, starts to crumble. The foundation beneath her begins to shake, and she realizes she's been living a lie. As the day unfolds, Lily confronts her mentor in private. Her heart races as she walks through the empty office halls, replaying the conversation in her mind. The mentor, someone she trusted like a second parent, stands across from her, his face unreadable. The air is thick with tension. "You knew about the financial issues," Lily accuses, her voice trembling but firm. He doesn't deny it, but he spins the story, weaving a web of justifications, as if none of this was ever his fault. He insists that the company was under pressure, that the situation was complicated. Lily's mind races. She's come so far, trusted this person, but now she feels betrayed. In that moment the reality sinks in. Her success was built on someone else's deceit. The world she worked so hard to construct is shattered. And the man she once saw as a mentor is now just another figure in a game she didn't even know she was playing. Lily steps out of the meeting, the weight of the confrontation pressing down on her chest. Her heart races as she processes the full scope of what she's learned. She walks through the office, the noise of her colleagues and the hustle of the corporate world around her almost suffocating. She wants to scream, but instead, she locks herself in the bathroom, trying to hold it all together. Her reflection in the mirror shows a woman who is no longer sure of anything. The empire she built, or thought she built, is built on lies. She calls her mother, needing to hear a familiar voice. Through the phone she tells her mother what happened, her voice breaking. "I don't know what to do anymore," she admits. Her mother's words come through, soft but steady. "Sometimes the truth isn't what we expect, but it's always what we need." Those words settle in her chest, and she realizes she has a choice. Let everything collapse, or stand up and rebuild from the ground up. Lily gathers her strength. The next day, she calls a meeting with her team, all of them unaware of the truth she's just uncovered. The conference room feels colder than usual, the sleek glass walls reflecting the tension in the air. She stands at the head of the table, her voice steady as she addresses them. "I know the company's been struggling, and I know I haven't been completely honest with you," she begins. The room falls silent. Her eyes scan the faces of the people she's worked with, some loyal, some complicit. "But I found something, and I need to tell you all the truth. We've been led down the wrong path." The room shifts, a mix of shock, confusion, and fear in the air. She feels the weight of the room's expectation on her, but she stands firm. She's not the woman she was before. She is a leader now, a leader who will not hide from the truth, no matter how painful. The fallout is swift. Her mentor, once revered and admired, is now exposed as a fraud. The company is thrown into chaos as the truth comes to light. Board members are in shock, employees whisper in corners, and Lily is left to pick up the pieces. The media storm surrounding the scandal is relentless. Lily feels the eyes of the world on her, judging her, questioning her. But through it all, she stands tall. Wild. She takes charge of the company's future, initiating sweeping changes. Her actions speak louder than the noise around her. As the dust begins to settle, she sees the true cost of her journey. The company may have survived, but everything she thought she knew has been upended. It's no longer just about success, it's about rebuilding trust, starting fresh, and proving that integrity matters more than ambition. Lily has learned that sometimes you have to lose everything in order to find out what truly matters. The tension in the boardroom is palpable. The final vote is looming, a decision that will determine the fate of the company. The table is surrounded by the company's most influential members, their faces a mixture of anxiety and resolve. Lily stands at the head, her eyes sharp, her voice unwavering. She knows this vote will define everything, whether the company moves forward or collapses under the weight of its past mistakes. The room has been divided, with some calling for a complete restructuring, while others, fearing the loss of their power, urge caution. The stakes are monumental. Her heart pounds as the voices grow louder, each side presenting their case with passion and conviction. Lily's thoughts flash to everything she's sacrificed. The personal losses, the betrayals, the countless nights spent questioning whether it was all worth it. Now, in this moment, she realizes the decision isn't just about business. It's about choosing the future she wants for herself and for the company. With one last look around the room, she speaks. The legacy we leave here today isn't built on fear, but on honesty and integrity. The vote begins. One by one, the executives cast their ballots. Lily watches them carefully, her heart beating faster with every passing moment. The silence is suffocating, and every second feels like an eternity. She reflects on the long road that brought her here, from the young girl in her mother's kitchen, promising never to be like her, to the powerful woman now leading a company on the brink of a critical turning point. But as the ballots are counted, it becomes clear. The board is divided, and the decision will come down to her. This is the moment that will either solidify her legacy or destroy everything she has worked for. She has given everything to this company, but now she must decide if this legacy is worth the personal cost. The final vote will determine whether she will sacrifice her principles to keep the company afloat or walk away and rebuild her life, unencumbered by the weight of corporate greed. With a deep breath, Lily makes her decision. The vote is tallied, and the room falls silent. The results are in. The decision is close, but Lily has made her choice. Integrity over profit. As the final vote is revealed, a murmur spreads across the room. Some faces are filled with relief, others with anger, but Lily stands tall. She knows the consequences of her decision: a company in turmoil, loyal employees risking their futures, and her own career uncertain. But in this moment, she feels a weight lifted from her chest. The company's future is uncertain, but she has chosen to take the high road. As the meeting adjourns, Lily gathers her things and leaves the boardroom. She walks down the hall, the clatter of her heels echoing through the empty corridors. This is a new beginning, a painful but necessary step. Her future is no longer defined by the shadows of corporate ambition, but by the choices she makes moving forward. This decision may break her, but it will also free her. Outside the building, Lily stands alone on the balcony, the cool night air brushing against her face. The city sprawls beneath her, vibrant and alive, yet she feels a strange sense of peace. She has just made the hardest decision of her life, and though the future remains uncertain, she knows she has done the right thing. The company, her colleagues, and her mentor may not understand her choice, but she understands herself now in a way she never did before. Her reflection in the glass door as she looks out at the city is a reminder of the woman she has become: strong, self-assured, and unapologetic. She takes a deep breath, feeling the weight of her choices, but also the freedom they bring. As the skyline twinkles in the distance, she knows that this moment will define the rest of her life, not because of what she has achieved, but because of what she has chosen to leave behind. The next day, the media frenzy surrounding the vote and the company's future is relentless. Lily's decision has shaken the business world, and the headlines echo across every news outlet. Some praise her for her courage, others criticize her for losing everything. But through it all, she remains resolute. The company is in the process of restructuring, but Lily knows this is only the beginning. In the quiet moments of reflection, she understands that what she's really lost is not her career or her reputation, but her fear. She has shed the weight of others' expectations, choosing instead to live authentically. As she prepares for the next chapter, she receives a message from her mother: "You've made it. Now, let yourself be proud." A tear escapes her eye as she reads the message. For the first time in years, she allows herself to smile. The woman in the mirror is no longer the person defined by ambition or expectations. She is free. Weeks pass, and the dust of the scandal and corporate upheaval slowly begins to settle. The company has been restructured, with new leadership and a renewed sense of direction. Lily, now working from a quiet office in the corner of the building, finds herself at peace in a way she never thought possible. The intensity of the past few months has worn her down, but it's also made her stronger. She no longer craves validation or recognition from others. She is not defined by her position or the size of her paycheck. She is defined by her choices. Her work is no longer a battle against herself or others. It is a means to contribute, to make things right, to rebuild. She spends her days helping others in the company find their footing, sharing her experiences, and offering guidance. The days feel calmer now, and Lily finally begins to find the balance between her personal and professional life. The weight of her earlier struggles is still with her, but she carries it lightly now with a sense of purpose. One evening after work, Lily returns home to her small apartment. She hasn't been back here in months, and the quiet space feels unfamiliar yet comforting. She's spent so much time focused on the company and her career that she's neglected the one place where she can truly be herself. As she steps into the apartment, she breathes in the familiar scent of home, a mixture of books, candles, and old furniture. The place is a little cluttered, but it's hers. She takes a deep breath, letting the calmness of the space wash over her. Lily takes off her shoes and walks into the living room, where she sees an old photograph of her mother on the mantel, smiling in a summer garden. For a moment, she closes her eyes and remembers her mother's words, the wisdom that guided her through every decision. In this quiet moment, Lily feels an overwhelming sense of gratitude, not just for what she's accomplished, but for the woman she's become. A few days later, Lily is at a cafe with a close friend she hasn't seen in a long time. They sit at a small table near the window, sipping coffee and catching up. It's strange yet refreshing to be back in the rhythm of simple, everyday life. As they talk, Lily's friend asks her how she's really doing. For the first time, Lily admits the truth. "I thought I had to lose everything to find out what mattered," she says softly. "But I think it was always about finding the right balance. I thought success meant climbing higher, but now I see it's about grounding yourself, knowing who you are, regardless of how much you've achieved." Her friend smiles, understanding. They talk for hours, and when they part ways, Lily feels lighter than she has in years. She's learning to take the time to enjoy life, to savor the little moments, and to appreciate the people who have supported her along the way. Lily decides to visit her mother. It's been a while since they spent time together, and she knows she needs to reconnect. She drives to the small house where she grew up, the road winding through familiar countryside. As she parks in the driveway, she notices the garden her mother used to tend to, now overgrown but still beautiful. Her mother greets her at the door, her smile as warm as always. They sit on the porch, watching the sunset as they talk about the past, the present, and the future. Lily tells her about the changes at the company, the decisions she's made, and the lessons she's learned. Her mother listens quietly, offering gentle words of wisdom. "You've always known what was right, Lily," she says. "You just had to trust yourself enough to act on it." Lily nods, her heart swelling with gratitude. As the sun dips below the horizon, she realizes that the journey she's been on has always been about finding herself, about becoming the woman she was always meant to be. Back in her office, Lily looks out the window one last time. The city stretches out before her, vibrant and full of potential. She no longer feels the need to conquer it. She's found her place in the world, not by striving for more, but by accepting what she already has. Her career has evolved, but it no longer defines her. She is at peace with herself, content in the knowledge that she has made the right choices, even when the path was difficult. There are still challenges ahead, but she faces them with a calm determination, knowing that the most important thing is not the destination, but the journey. As she stands up from her desk, she smiles softly to herself. She's not the same woman who walked into this building years ago. She's stronger, wiser, and more grounded. And for the first time in a long while, Lily feels truly free. Lily stands in front of the office building that once represented the pinnacle of her career. The world outside is as alive as ever, the city pulsing with the constant rhythm of ambition and drive. But Lily doesn't feel the rush anymore. She watches the people passing by, their faces lost in their own worlds. For a moment, everything feels still, and she feels the weight of the journey she's taken. She's learned that power, success, and recognition are fleeting. What truly matters is the peace she's found within herself. The decision she made all those months ago to step away from everything she knew was the hardest choice she'd ever made. But it was the right one. As she turns away from the building and walks into the quiet of the evening, she realizes that she's not just leaving behind a company. She's leaving behind the version of herself that was defined by others' expectations. She is finally free. The woman who once defined herself by her career has now redefined herself entirely. And it's in this freedom that she finds true power. The next morning, Lily stands in front of her new office, a small, modest space she's rented in a quieter part of the city. It's a far cry from the cold, sleek corporate world she once inhabited. But this space, filled with books, plants, and a sense of warmth, feels like the start of something new. She takes a deep breath and looks around, smiling. She knows there's a long road ahead, but it no longer feels overwhelming. The foundation of her new venture is rooted in the values she holds dear: honesty, integrity, and a commitment to helping others. She sits down at her desk, and for the first time in years she feels truly at home in her work. As the sun filters through the windows, she picks up her phone and sees a message from her mother. "I'm proud of you." A tear wells up in her eye, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming joy of knowing she has made the right choices. This is her moment. Later that day, Lily is walking through the park near her office, enjoying the simplicity of the moment. The sound of children laughing, the rustling of leaves in the breeze, and the warmth of the sun on her face fill her with peace. As she walks, she notices a small family sitting on a bench, the father playing with his young daughter. The sight strikes a chord deep within her. She's reminded of her own childhood, of the promises she made to herself all those years ago. But she's also reminded of the person she's become, someone who has learned the value of balance, of love, and of making choices that nurture the soul. She smiles to herself, a sense of deep contentment washing over her. Life is not about endless climbing, she realizes. It's about finding joy in the moments that matter. And those moments are enough. A few days later, Lily is sitting at a table in a small cafe, her laptop open in front of her as she works on a new project. A quiet hum of conversation surrounds her, and she's immersed in the task at hand. She pauses for a moment, her fingers hovering over the keyboard, and looks out the window. The city is alive with activity, but Lily feels no rush to be a part of it. She's finally created a life that allows her to work with purpose, not pressure. Her phone buzzes with a message from an old colleague, congratulating her on her new venture. She smiles, knowing she's not the same person she was when she first started. But that's okay. In fact, it's better than okay. It's exactly as it should be. With a deep breath, she returns to her work, feeling a renewed sense of clarity and direction. The path ahead is unknown, but Lily knows she is ready for it. As the evening falls, Lily steps out onto the balcony of her apartment, the soft glow of city lights twinkling below her. The cool breeze ruffles her hair, and she takes a moment to reflect on everything that has led her to this point. She's come so far, from the girl who made a vow to never be like her mother, to the woman who has learned the true meaning of success. It's not about the title, the salary, or the recognition. It's about staying true to yourself, no matter the cost. Her eyes fall on a child playing in the street below, the innocence and joy radiating from the small figure. A smile tugs at her lips, and she realizes that the world is still full of possibilities. With a deep breath, she whispers to herself, "He left the company, but never left her." In this final moment, Lily knows that she has finally found what she was looking for: peace, purpose, and a future that's entirely her own.